Drivers may notice changes in the Lincoln District.
The city has a new commission.
And this May, enjoy Tacoma's history.
All that and more coming up next on Tacoma Report.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of Tacoma Report. I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. The city's new Immigrant and Refugee Commission held its first meeting at the end of April. The 11-member commission will help inform the community and provide feedback to the Tacoma City Council about policy affecting immigrants and refugees in Tacoma. Meetings will be held every fourth Monday each month at the Tacoma Municipal Building.
Tacoma is a host city for the 2018 Japan America Grassroots Summit. The event is hosted by the Japan America Society of the State of Washington in partnership with the John Manjiro Whitfield Commemorative Center for International Exchange in Japan.
And it goes back and forth between being held in the U.S. and in Japan. And its mission is to, at the grassroots level, connect people, which ties very perfectly in with the Sister City's mission of peace through people and connecting people in different countries.
10 host families are needed Thursday, September 20th through Sunday, September 23rd. Families can learn more by calling the City of Tacoma. University of Washington students and faculty have been working with Tacoma community members and city staff this academic year on projects to improve livability and sustainability across Tacoma. They're sharing highlights of what they've accomplished during a wrap-up event on May 30th from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Greater Tacoma Convention Center.
When you're an elderly, disabled, or low-income homeowner, keeping up with repairs to maintain a safe, healthy, and comfortable home can be difficult. That's why hundreds of volunteers from business, civic, and government groups turned out recently for Rebuilding Together Day. It's a national effort and 25 Tacoma area homes received makeovers. John Phillips shows us how volunteers from Tacoma Public Utilities helped out one resident who had to put some home improvement projects on hold while they battled cancer.
National Rebuilding Day comes to an East Tacoma neighborhood. For nearly a decade, employees of Tacoma Public Utilities have turned out for this extreme makeover that will help a neighbor in need.
This is awesome. Building the community, taking care of people that submit an application for a rebuild project like this. It's such an honor to take part in.
They're building decks, fixing fence gates, painting the kitchen, and doing a lot of landscaping for a homeowner named Shay.
I've got this wonderful smile on my face all day today.
She had big plans to make improvements to her 1917 home until she got sick last year.
I was starting to get depressed that I wouldn't be able to finish the projects.
She befriended a lady named Donna from the neighborhood on social media. Donna received volunteer help during last year's Rebuilding Day and encouraged Shay to apply.
And I'm so happy that she did. I can't believe what's going on here right now.
They do wonderful things, and a lot of these people wouldn't be able to stay in their homes if it wasn't for Rebuilding Together.
Across the country on this day, volunteer employee groups like TPU lent a helping hand.
It's typical. There's usually a lot of yard work happening at our houses. Mostly we're concerned with health and safety issues inside the house, making sure people can get in and out of their homes safely.
Today I am working on the sidewalk of putting in bricks, so clearing out the sidewalk, making it wider and safer, and making it look beautiful.
Gretchen Galuska is among many of these TPU employees who return to do this community service year after year. It's a chance to meet coworkers from other divisions who bring a variety of construction skills and desire to do something positive.
Particularly for employees that are dealing with customer-facing jobs, sometimes that can feel a little bit helpless. Being able to volunteer is a way to help feel like they can do something.
Thanks to this group, Shay's long list of unfinished projects is a lot smaller. Getting in and out of her home is safer, and the yard will be much easier to manage.
Because now a lot of the hard physical work is done. It's pretty amazing.
For Tacoma Report, I'm John Phillips.
Shay will also have a cozier home. She was able to qualify for a Tacoma Power Grant to improve the energy efficiency with additional insulation, more efficient windows, and a ductless heat pump. When we return from the break, we'll travel to 2 amazing parks in Tacoma.
And there are plenty of reasons to get out and enjoy Bike Month. Stay with us.
Drivers may notice that how they get through the Lincoln Business District has recently changed.
The streetscape work occurring in the area has shifted and is now focused on the north side of the street. This is part of Phase 1 of the project and is taking place through South J Street to South Fawcett Avenue. Construction on this side will include minor utility improvements, pedestrian amenities, and sidewalk infrastructure improvements. This work is expected to run through July. For more information on the Lincoln District Streetscape project, visit the city's site. Take a hike while enjoying art and activities promoting healthy bird habitat at Tacoma's Oak Tree Park. The event on June 2nd is a free, family-friendly celebration of birds, art, and trails among native Gary oak trees.
Oak Tree Park is an incredible natural and community resource right here in Tacoma. We're excited to bring people to the park to see some of the birds, spend some time in the natural Gary oak habitat, explore the trails, and see the artwork that's being installed.
This celebration will start with a bike ride hosted by Kiddical Mass. Those who want to ride will meet at 10 a.m. at Star Center and bike a 2-mile ride traveling along the Flume Line Trail to the event in South Tacoma.
Wright Park is another of Tacoma's great outdoor spaces. Lane Fickey takes a look at one of the oldest parks in the area and tells us about a certain aspect that makes it so special.
Each year, thousands of people come to Wright Park. Some for the events like the popular Ethnic Fest. Kids love the spray grounds located here. Others like to spend their lunch hour taking a stroll. And you'll even see those who are training for their next marathon.
And what helps those activities become even more fun? It's the amazing trees found right here in the park and the offering they provide.
There are more than 600 trees in Wright Park, made up of 145 different species. This land, which was donated by Charles Wright in 1886 to the city of Tacoma, now encompasses 27 acres. It's more than a park, it's an arboretum.
Many of these trees, there were 110 varieties planted originally around 1890. They were exotic, which arboretums don't have to be exotic, but this one is. Many of these trees are not native to the Pacific Northwest, so they were a treat, they were rare, they were something that people could come and look at and learn about other parts of the world.
When you have trees this old and some very rare, special maintenance is required to preserve their place in Tacoma history.
We have an urban forester, and he provides a individual evaluation of each one of the trees a minimum of every 5 years, more often if it's under a close watch. We do pruning to be preventative for some problems. We have the Teddy Roosevelt oak that needed to have a major canopy reduction a few years ago in order to keep the likelihood of it failing down. We also have cabling installed in one of the red oaks down by the playground because of the importance of the target that would happen if it were to fail.
Metro Parks Tacoma has developed a self-guided walking tour called the Champion Tree Tour. Champion trees are the biggest of their species, and there are 20 of them located in Wright Park. You can download a map at the Metro Parks Tacoma website, or you can pick one up at the W.W. Seymour Botanical Conservatory in the park. Whether it's a picnic lunch, taking a leisurely walk with a friend, or reliving your youth on the swings, the trees at Wright Park play a vital role in making this go-to place stay at the top of places to be. For Tacoma Report, I'm Lane Fickey.
You'll find both native and exotic trees in Wright Park. And with the trees changing throughout the seasons, the park takes on a different look each time you go there. Historic Preservation Month kicked off on May 5th with an event that created some friendly competition. Earthwise was the location of the Salvage Art Show and Iron Art Competition. Teams of up to 3 people received a mystery bag of goodies with one special key piece and given 30 minutes to create their own iron art sculpture. Winners received an Earthwise gift card This kickoff event may be over, but there are still plenty of events left that celebrate adaptive reuse in Tacoma. View a full listing of remaining Historic Preservation Month events on their site. Up next, the process to hire the next Tacoma Public Utilities Director is almost complete.
And the Broadway Center has some big changes in store. We'll be right back. The hiring process for one of Tacoma's top city officials is nearly complete. The list of candidates for the next director of Tacoma Public Utilities has been narrowed, and final selection is nearing. The director oversees Tacoma Power, Tacoma Water, and Tacoma Rail operations. The finalists attended an informal public meet and greet event and fielded questions during a joint City Council and Tacoma Public Utility Board study session. Want to enjoy Bike Month and Historic Preservation Month at the same time? Now you can. These 2 months have joined up for the Old Places, New Spaces, Adaptively Reused Trails Bike Tour. Come by Seven Seas Brewing on Friday, May 25th at 5:15 p.m. for a bike ride on Tacoma's adaptively reused bike trails. Participants will also enjoy a social event following the bike ride. To learn more, visit the Bike Month page on the city's site.
The city's Public Works Department is holding community meetings regarding rail crossings in the Dome District, Old Town, and the West End from May 22nd through the 24th. This is the second round of meetings being held to discuss various topics, including traffic operations, noise, safety, as well as pedestrian and bicycle mobility. Community feedback is being used to help develop a framework and ranking process that will help assess potential crossing improvements at these sites. For a listing of meeting dates and locations, visit the city site. Locations in Tacoma's Historic Theater District are celebrating their centennial birthday this year. Stacy Ellifrit has more on how one of these theaters is getting a major interior renovation.
The Broadway Center has kicked off their centennial campaign, an effort that seeks to enhance the theater experience in many ways.
The campaign will accomplish over multiple years and multiple phases upgrades to Tacoma's historic theaters and Theater on the Square. Not only will there be the upgrade of the interior, but that will include new seating in the Pantages. That includes a center aisle for the first time since 1983. And the number of seats will increase. So we will go from right now about 1,150 to about 1,250.
A top historic theater paint expert was hired to restore the Pantages to its initial design from when the theater was first built.
They've conducted forensic studies of the walls here, going back through 20-some layers of paint. They've gone through all of those layers to find the layers in 1918. And they found a special damask wallpaper style that we're going to restore, and multiple color schemes that we will be bringing to restore the Pantages to its original impact, and it is going to be spectacular.
Other renovations include structural components to be more secure in a seismic event, as well as an improved acoustic and sound protection. All these changes will require the theater to be closed for a number of months.
The Pantages will close for the interior renovations between May 14, 2018 through November 14, 2018. So 6 months of work will completely restore this hall. We're going to be relying heavily on the Rialto and Theater on the Square. And for certain events that don't require the theatrical infrastructure that our regular halls do, we will be hosting events at the Tacoma Armory.
The city owns most of these buildings, and significant support of the campaign has come through city investment, among other means.
We are working hard at the Broadway Center to energize the private sector, the individual giving, foundations, corporations, things like that, into the campaign to help extend the work that we're doing in future years. Within the Centennial Campaign, there are many ways the community can help us restore the hall. We have more fundraising to do. And one of the easiest ways is for patrons to put their name on a seat. And we provide that opportunity. They can honor their family, a loved one, a business, anything. It's a gift that will live for 25 years or so until the seats need to be replaced again.
Along with these refurbishments, the Broadway Center is looking for new ways to tell their story as an agency.
Our goal there is to, in the work that we do in bringing great performances, is to reflect the diversity and interests of this community. We want to be able to tell those stories in dynamic ways that the community can understand and invite their support in coming years to participate.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacey Ellifrit.
To find out more about this campaign that seeks to continue the legacy, create a new vision, and deepen community engagement, visit the Broadway Center site.
And finally, administrative offices in the Tacoma Municipal Building Complex and another City of Tacoma facilities will close on Monday, May 28th in observance of Memorial Day. The Tacoma Recovery and Transfer Center will open as normally scheduled on Monday, May 28th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and garbage, recycling, and yard food waste pickups will not be affected. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report.
A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Until next time, I'm Angie Foster.
And I'm Laura Proctor. Thanks for watching.